Good morning everyone. In today's session we'll be having a lab, okay, in which lab we'll have a web server, DNS server, DHCP server and an access point. Okay, so this laptop will be connected to the access point through Wi-Fi, so we'll be also configuring Wi-Fi in Packet Tracer. Next, this PC will get a DHCP, that means it will get IP address dynamically. In these three servers we'll be configuring the IP address statically, that means we'll be manually installing the IP address and other credentials, whereas in these two laptops, this laptop and this PC, will be configuring using DHCP server, which will be made in this PC. Okay, so look at here, create a network with 192.168.1.0/24 network and create a DHCP server, DNS server and a web server. So we'll be creating DHCP server, okay, DNS server and a web server. Next, here are some things, so let's do lab first, then we'll be taking over the points. Okay, so for this we need 3 servers, so let's go to Packet Tracer and bring 3 servers. So for that, go to in devices, then we'll pick up 3 servers. Okay, so 1, 2 and 3. After that we need a switch according to the topology, so we'll bring a switch. We need a PC, okay, a laptop, and lastly we need a wireless device. Okay, so for wireless device I recommend to use APPT, okay, and for switch I recommend to use 2960. okay, so after that we'll be connecting according to the topology, so everything will be connected to the switch, okay, the access point, the servers, DNS servers and the client. Okay, so let's connect them. Okay, so go to the connections, then choose auto cable, okay, then we'll connect them. Okay, and for the connection of laptop we'll be using wireless link, so it will get connection through the access point. Okay, so in this topology, let's have a look. It has only a broadcast domain and this access point is not a router, so it will not break the broadcast domain. So this laptop will also be in the same broadcast domain, so according to the topology we'll make it of same network. Okay, so we'll be using 192.168.1.0/24 over the network. Okay, so look at the topology, it is also using 192.168.1.0/24. for web server we'll be using 192.168.1.3, so we'll be using 192.168.1.3. this is web server. Okay, so web server, this is DNS server. Okay, so DNS server, look at this, so this is DNS server and it is using 192.168.1.1. so 192.168.1.1. this is DHCP server, we'll be using 192.168.1.2 for DHCP server. So let's do it. And for these two PCs I have said we'll be using DHCP client, so DHCP, and this will also be DHCP client, so we'll not be using any IP address because it will get IP address automatically from this server. Okay, so first of all we'll connect web server. First of all, what is web server? Web server is a machine that is used to host websites. Okay, so if we are getting facebook.com, then there is a web server that is giving us the request. Okay, it will be using HTTP or HTTPS. so for configuring the server, first we have to configure the IP address in the server. So go to the desktop and go for IP configuration, then in static. Okay, we are not taking DHCP because we'll be configuring the IP address statically. So the IP address is 192.168.1.3. subnet mask, since it is /24, we'll be using 255.255.255.0. okay, so default gateway, in this network we don't have any router, or we are not connecting to other network, or we are not connecting to other subnet, so we'll not be using gateway. Okay, so there is no gateway in this topology, so we'll only configure DNS server. So in this topology, if you see here, we have a DNS server with IP address 192.168.1.1 that will be written over here. Okay, so 192.168.1.1. now our IP address has been configured. Now let's cross this. Then another thing, we have to configure the web server. So for configuring web server, we go to services, then we will go to HTTP. I have said web server works on the protocol HTTP and HTTPS. Okay, we are configuring both, so HTTP and HTTPS will make them on. Okay, by default in these servers, the HTTP and HTTPS are made on. Okay, so they are active, so we should not do anything to make the web server, but to distinguish between the other servers, because this will also host, okay, websites, this will also host websites. So we'll go to the index.html and make some changes. Okay, so we'll go to there 26. Okay, Galaxy Infotech. Okay, then we'll say welcome to Galaxy Infotech. Okay, I have never said that. What I will say today, please subscribe. Okay, now save it. But one thing, we should not make any changes. If you want, then you can make, but if you don't make, it's okay. Okay, so we have configured the web server in 192.168.1.3 PC. Now we'll configure the DHCP server. Now what is DHCP server? DHCP server, okay, so normally when you go to your home or your office, you get your IP address automatically. For your computer to work, or your PCs or your mobile to work in internet, you need some credentials. Look over here. I'm getting IP before. Okay, I will do ipconfig/all. Okay, I have only done ipconfig. So if we look over here, these things are essentials to be in internet. Okay, it may be IP before or IPv6 address, it's not a big deal, but one is IP address, one is subnet marks, next is default gateway. We have not talked about it today, because in our network we are only communicating between same network, so we don't need default gateway. And next, DNS server. So these credentials, we don't give these credentials in our home, okay, in our mobiles or anything, but we are getting that credentials. We are getting that credentials because there is a DHCP server in our home. Okay, you wonder where is that DHCP server? Then it is in the router. Okay, this type of router, it has DHCP server. In some organizations, they made in DHCP server in their router. Some make a dedicated device for DHCP server. So there are different types of DHCP server. Now, in conclusion, we can understand that DHCP server is a device that is used to give or assign IP address to other devices. Okay, so we can say it is for automatically assigning IP address to devices. So for that configuration, let's go to the DHCP server. So then first of all, we have to do the IP configuration. So go to a desktop IP configurations, then we will do 192.168.1.2, since we are planning to give 192.168.1.2. This is /24 network, so 255.255.0. we don't have a gateway. Now next is DNS server. DNS server is 192.168.1.1, because in this network we don't have other DNS server. Okay, now next we have to configure the DHCP. For that, we go to services and DHCP. Okay, now in our question, okay, it is saying that create a DHCP server in DHCP server computer and with start IP 192.168.1.100. Why is it saying 1.100? Because if we do not make the start IP 1.100, its start IP is 192.168.1.0. So If someone asks IP address, it will give 192.168.1.1, 2, 3 and 4 like that. Okay, so we have to give some static IPs in this topology, like for web server we are giving statically 192.168.1.3, for this 1.1 and for this 1.2. If something goes wrong and these devices are turned off while the router is getting up or the DHCP server is getting up, other devices will get this IP address, which is not recommended. So we make the stat IP farther from the addresses which are statically given. Okay, so for that let's look over the DHCP server. We start the DHCP server from 100. Okay, so we should not make many changes. We make 192.168.1.1. okay, with the biggest DNS server is 192.168.1.1. we make the interface on. So until and unless we don't make this on, it will not work. So everything is okay. Let's save it. Our DHCP configuration is okay. Now let's check if the DHCP server is working or not. So go to the PC, okay, IP configuration, then we go to the DHCP. Okay, it was in static, we go to DHCP. If everything is good, we'll get a IP. So 192.168.1.101, 255.255.255.0, 192.168.1.1. Now you are wondering why is it getting 101? We have made the stat IP 100 because I have done this 2 times. Okay, that was the reason. Okay, so now it is getting 100. Okay, so there was 2 DHCP requests from the same device, so it was giving what, 101. Now it is getting 100. Okay, so it's not a big deal. So now let's check if our web browser is working. So for that, let's go to the web browser and type 192.168.1.3 because it is the IP address of the web server. So go to the browser and so we are getting the website. So Galaxy Infotech, welcome to Galaxy Infotech, please subscribe. Okay, so we are getting the reply from the web server. That means web server is working good. Our DHCP server is also working good. But now I have said, okay, over here also we can see here, make an entry of web server. Okay, 192.168.1.3, that is web server, is www.yourname.com. so our name is Galaxy Infotech, so we'll be making this PC under www.galaxy.com. so when we type galaxy.com, will it be responding or not? Look over there. No, it is not responding. Why? Can anybody say? Yes, because we have no DNS server over there. What is DNS server? Let's look over there. DNS server is a database that has DNS domain names and their respective IP address. That means if you want to know the IP address gcorelabs.com, then our PC does not know the IP address at first. So it will ask what, DNS server, which is configured. Okay, in my PC I have DNS server IP config /all. So I have DNS server. Let me look over there, 192.168.18.1. so my PC will ask 192.168.18.1 who is gcorelabs.com. so the DNS server will come with the IP if it has, okay, if it resembles in this database, that it will come with the IP. That means DNS server is used to resolve domain name with IP address. So in our network we have switches, routers, they do not understand www.gcorelabs.com, but they only understand what, IP address and MAC addresses. So we should resolve the IP address with the help of what, domain name. The process of resolving is done by DNS server. So let's make a DNS server. So let's go to the DNS server, desktop, IP configuration, and we'll type here 192.168.1.1 was, yes, DNS server. Okay, For this also we can type 192.168.1.1 because it is also a DNS. So for that we go to services, DNS, then on, then we'll give the name www.galaxy.com. Where is the server? I think that is in 192.168.1.3. So we'll give the address 192.168.1.3. Let's add it. Okay, we have done the DNS configuration. Go to the device, web browser, then we'll type www.galaxy.com. So we are getting the reply from the web server. So our DNS configuration also done. Now with the wireless connection, so we go to the wireless. For that, we have some criteria: create an access point and make SSID your name and password college name 123. So we'll be using college name 123. Okay, so go to the access point, config port 1, then for SSID we'll be changing this, so Galaxy, and password you can use any. Okay, WEP, WPA, WPA2. It's better to use WPA2. If your router has WPA3, it's better to use WPA3. Okay, so college name 123, and let's cross this. Then let's go to the laptop. In laptop, okay, we go to desktop, PC wireless. So we are getting an error. What is that error? So our WMP300N or WPC300N wireless interface is required to connect. So our laptop, okay, not our laptop, but this laptop does not have what? Wi-Fi adapter. So let's insert the Wi-Fi adapter. For that, go to the physical, turn off the laptop. Okay, we can do that. Yes. So take out the Ethernet card, then we'll go with WPC300N, turn on the laptop, go to the desktop, PC wireless, then go to connect. Now wait for it. Galaxy, connect, college name, I think it's college name 123, college name 123, connect. Okay, let's close it. I think we have got the IP. Yes, we have done it right. Now go to web browser, then type www.galaxy.com. Are we getting that? Yes. So look at the question. Are we done it? Yes, I think we are done with. Okay, so we have made the SSID with name, password, and we have got the PC. Okay, this also we have done it. Then go to browser of laptop and enter yes. If it works, good, but not, then troubleshoot. So if you have any issues, go and do with the video. Okay, thank you everyone, have a nice